Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Commander video for Magic the Gathering. We are finishing up the Mirrodin set of commanders with Glissa Sunseeker, who is a legendary elf warrior. There we go, I gotta read the errata text because the old text here is a little out of date. Glissa Sunseeker is a legendary elf warrior. It's a 3/2 and it has a mana value of 4 with 2 generic mana and 2 green mana. It has First Strike. If you don't remember First Strike, it deals a separate form of combat damage that happens, and then there's the normal combat damage that happens after First Strike damage. So really effective when it comes to attacking and blocking. And then tap, destroy target artifact if its mana value is equal to the amount of unspent mana you have. That's the current errated text. And it is important to note that it has to be equal to the amount of unspent mana. So if you have 4 unspent mana, you cannot destroy a 5 mana value or a 3 mana value spell. It has to be exactly 4. So, honestly, some fun shenanigans you could do if you have untapped shenanigans would be like make a bunch of mana, blow something up with Glissa, spend some of that mana to either untap Glissa or do something else, and then that mana value, that mana that you have in your unspent pool can now be used to destroy something smaller mana value. So some fun shenanigans there. Before we get to the full shenanigans, however, we gotta address these 2 rules. The artifact's mana value must be exactly equal to the amount of unspent mana you have when the ability resolves. If there's less mana or more mana, the artifact won't be destroyed, which I already discussed. You need to have the unspent mana before the ability resolves. The ability doesn't allow you to activate mana abilities while it's resolving. So, essentially once, and that just kind of goes with how the stack works. You're not allowed to interact with things on the stack in the middle of something resolving. Once something resolves on the stack, you have to resolve it to its fullest to get it off of the stack. And that's just basic how the stack works rules, which can get complicated, but generally the easy way to think about it is when something on the stack resolves, do that thing, and then when it's done, then you can interact with it. So when you put this ability on the stack, you could let me know in the comments below, but I imagine you could, theoretically, you could use Glissa to target the thing, but before her ability resolves, you could then add mana to your mana pool to reach its mana value that you need before it resolves. But once the activated ability does go on the stack, I think you can add the mana to then pay for that if you wanted to wait before paying it to activate. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Those are the 2 rules, so just be mindful of your mana usage with this commander. A card to synergize is Viridian Revel. Since we're going to be blowing up artifacts, Viridian Revel is a great card to have, so that way you can get card advantage from blowing up your opponent's artifacts. And this is a great card to have in the deck as well, just because even if you're not using Glissa's ability, treasures and clues and food even are very prevalent artifacts that have to go to the graveyard to be used. So having this just in the deck naturally is a great fit because your opponents, not every deck, it'll depend on your meta of course in your group, but most decks run at least one of those 3 artifact tokens: food, treasure, and or clues. And all of them need to be sacrificed. And there's plenty of others out there too, like blood tokens and stuff. So just a great card overall. The deck that I'm putting Glissa in is a mono green elf deck, and this is just a fun way to get rid of pesky artifacts on the board. And use it with my elf synergies. A popular commander EDH rec deck idea is really just hitting home on the artifact removal, using the ability as many times as you can over and over again, and taking advantage of blowing up your opponent's permanents. And then lastly was calling back to a 60-card casual deck that I built that was just so much fun and so annoying. My play group had a brief moment where we just built these decks that were just absurdly rude in some way, shape, or form. And so the one I built was a land exiling deck where I focused on turning my opponent's basic lands into artifacts, and then removing not only them, but using Splint to remove all other copies of the card from the library. Absolutely absurd card. And then winning the game with a Trepanation Blade by milling my opponents out. It was absurdly rude and silly, and I love it. So this would be a fun, janky deck idea. And that is going to do it for Glissa Sunseeker. Really cool, very fun. A great way to do some cool targeted removal in mono green, especially for artifacts. And you should have plenty of artifacts to target, especially in this format. But also be prepared, because opponents don't like having their stuff blown up, so they may come at you for it. So be prepared for that. But have a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments below if there's any synergies or combos I didn't talk about. And thank you guys so much for your support. By the time this video comes out, we're in the new year, and I've gotten just a little over 3,000 subscribers, and I really, really want to thank you guys for helping me grow this channel and for being a part of this community that we're building. And I'm so excited to make more content for you guys. Thank you so much. Happy New Year's, and of course, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!